Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here this morning. As you can see, we have some materials for you today, but before we begin talking about this, I thought I'd mark a milestone with you this morning, and that today is the midpoint in my four-year term as mayor. Tomorrow, I was sworn in 2 years ago tomorrow. Say it like that. And just for anybody wondering, I drug out the same jacket that I wore 2 years ago. Doesn't look quite as good 2 years later, but I thought that would be a little bit of good luck. So, we've accomplished a lot in the last 2 years, and I'm really honored to be the mayor at a time of such incredible momentum for St. Louis. There is over $8 billion in projects recently completed or under construction. There are cranes in the skies. There are construction dumpsters on the curbs all over the place, taking up your parking spots. The New York Times recently headlined St. Louis as once quiet, now vibrant. Forbes said of St. Louis, rebounding, and named us number 2 in top 10 rising cities for startups. And then Inc. magazine said, forget Silicon Valley. The most exciting innovations in ag tech are happening right here in this Midwestern city. They dubbed us the turnaround city. So that's why I'm proud and happy to be the mayor at this time of such great momentum for St. Louis. We have, over the last 2 years, made progress in reducing vacant and abandoned buildings, and we'll make more. You'll hear about that. We've seen and applied new strategies to public safety, and we're seeing some promising results from that. We've created more summer jobs and career opportunities for young folks. We'll continue to do that. We've invested in our infrastructure and in our capital needs, and we've shored up the city's reserves, which were perilously low 2 years ago. We released the Equity Indicators report a couple of months ago, 3 months ago, I guess, and that helps us to take stock of the inequities in our region. And we're soon going to release the city's resiliency strategy. So today, we are releasing our 2-year report entitled Momentum. We've got copies for you here. It's on the website either right now or will be in a minute. And it just outlines some of the work that we've done over the last year. Those of you that have been around a while know we released a report like this at 100 days. We released a report at 1 year, and we're releasing this, the 2-year report, which it's interesting to take a look back over a year and really try to take stock of what you've worked on and what you've accomplished. Still plenty to do, but I think it's important to take stock at this minute. So that report is out there. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about today was Earth Day. Earth Day's Monday, next Monday, April 22nd, and the St. Louis Earth Day Festival will again be held in Forest Park, and it'll be on Saturday and Sunday, April 27th and 28th, 11 to 5. And I didn't realize this, maybe you all did. This is the 30th year of Earth Day. So I think that's important to take stock of that, particularly at this time when in our country we are thankfully talking more and more about our environment and our environmental challenges. So I want to say just a couple of things today about some things that the city is doing to highlight what our efforts are. A major accomplishment was that we were named this year one of Bloomberg American Cities Climate Challenge. That is cities across the nation that will get about $2.5 million in technical support primarily to help us lead our effort. Catherine Werner is here today, and Catherine led our effort to be named a Bloomberg American Cities Climate Challenge city. And as a winning city, we joined, as I mentioned, this 2-year program. And the 3 of the key things that we put in our application was improve energy efficiency in public and private buildings. We know that a lot of the, I don't have the word here, negative environmental impact comes from buildings. So that was one of our primary objectives. The second thing is to develop and execute a comprehensive solar action strategy and to accelerate the availability of electric vehicle infrastructure and the use of electric vehicles. So these are 3 big initiatives to think about over the next couple of years with Bloomberg. It's just beginning. We're very excited about it, and we're hopeful that our participation in this program will really help us meet our challenges. One of the second things that we're doing, we have a map here about this, is the Goodfellow neighborhood green space. So in the next couple of weeks, you will begin to see the conversion of this 9 acres, 80 parcels, vacant parcels now, to community green space in the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood. And this work is being led by the Green City Coalition, which includes, of course, the City of St. Louis Development Corporation, Metropolitan Sewer District, Missouri Department of Conservation, and it's funded by the Trulask Family Foundation, Missouri Department of Conservation, MSD, and National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. But I think and you can look at it a little closer in a minute here, but to create this green space is going to result in new recreation space, new community open space, low-lying native grasses, flowers, fruit trees, walking trails, and improved lighting in this neighborhood. It's a great example, I think, of transforming vacant properties into an asset for the neighborhood. And we appreciate your work on this, Laura. Laura, again, is here, and she has really led this effort. She's leading a lot of the efforts in the city with regard to vacancy. Thirdly, improving energy efficiency in municipal and private buildings. So in about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, the Board of Aldermen passed what's called an energy benchmarking ordinance, and it requires all property owners, private and public, with buildings over 50,000 square feet, to benchmark their energy usage. And Rajiv has led this effort through our building division to coordinate this. And you might say, well, why do this? The first year of the program, 60% of the owners complied with the ordinance and reported their energy usage. Our goal now is 80% for them to report this year, the second year of the program. And the reason to do this is that buildings, as I tried to say earlier, not so well, are responsible for nearly 80% of greenhouse gas emissions in the city of St. Louis. And tracking this energy usage can help property owners make decisions about investments in energy efficiency, but it also informs tenants. If you're a tenant thinking of renting space in a building, you might prefer a building which is more energy efficient. And so when that information is available, that helps the consumer make more informed choices about where to locate. The city itself, we've been benchmarking our buildings as well, and 3 of those buildings have received Energy Star certifications. 1520 Market, some people call that City Hall West, City Hall itself, and the Carnahan Courthouse have received this Energy Star certification. So the city has also received a $1.3 million loan from the Missouri Division of Energy to conduct retro-commissioning and lighting upgrades at the Carnahan Courthouse, City Justice Center, Police Department Headquarters, Juvenile Court Center. And the savings from upgrading that lighting is expected to be over $500,000 a year, so it'll allow us to pay off that loan in less less than 3 years by having more energy efficient lighting. And then next, promoting the goal. We're doing things, but we're also being very aspirational about this. Promoting renewable energy. As you know, the city's goal is to transition to 100% clean energy by 2035. It's challenging. 2035 is only 15 years away. Sounds like a long time, but that goes by quickly. So in line with that goal, we are beginning to explore really, a variety of ways to use solar energy. And not only to help the environment, but of course also to create local green jobs and support workforce development opportunities. This summer, we expect to have a pilot project at 1520 Market and have solar panels on the roof there. And that'll be the first municipal solar rooftop array in the city of St. Louis. And we're thinking that that will be operational by this summer. Or I should say during this summer. And then I think the final point on this has to do with the Recycle Responsibly campaign. I know that you all have read about recycling and the challenges with recycling. But recycling responsibly is really something important, I think, for all of us to do. There's a billboard up, in fact, some of you may have seen it about that. So we have partners in this effort, Jefferson and St. Charles counties, East-West Gateway, and that team is working to educate the public about the negative and detrimental effects of plastic bags in the recycling stream. They clog up the equipment, they shut down the line, they break the equipment, and they also force items which would otherwise be recyclable, but if you put them in a plastic bag and put that in the dumpster, then they're not recycled. They go to the landfill. None of us want that. And I think it's not well known by the public that putting your recycling in a plastic bag essentially makes it not recyclable. So this is an educational campaign to try to get the public to not use any kind of a bag. Just dump your recyclables in the city, in the dumpster, no bag, much higher opportunity that that will actually end up being recycled. This past weekend on April the 13th, you may have known this, that was Plastic Bag Awareness Day. And last Saturday, over 3,000 reusable plastic bags were, 3,000 recyclable bags and reusable bags were distributed at the grocery stores and businesses. We have a few of them here for you today, so we think you ought to take one of those good-looking bags with the butterfly on it so that you will use that when you go to the grocery store. There's also some stickers over there which I think say, remember your bags, because if you're like I am and you go to the grocery store, you get in the grocery store and you get in the checkout line and you're like, oh, I left my bags in the car. So you either run back and get them or maybe you take paper bags, which is what I do when I forget. But so this is all about really trying to be more environmentally friendly, trying to promote the things that we know work, and to celebrate 30 years of Earth Day.